enjoys hiking and reading.
Have you ever felt like you did all the work,
But you never got the glory? Or that you've been standing in the same place forever? Or that no matter how hard you try, your voice isn't being heard? Welcome to the daily life of a test pond. Test ponds are often known as being weak or unreliable, or not very useful, at least in the beginning. However, they serve as a great metaphor for examining leadership in us and through our society. Because as a chess player advances through the game, it can turn into a queen. It can receive a huge promotion, and it can gain all that power to move across the board as it pleases. Now, I don't know about you, but just like any other person, it feels like a potential, an innate talent. Because if you work hard and overcome obstacles and fight through challenges, you can also become the leader or the queen of the board. Now, I'm not saying chess pawns have emotions or like they can talk like humans do or humanizing them in any way. But by comparing how they act on the board as a structure, we can really examine leadership as a whole. So, today I'm going to challenge the way we think about leadership through the game of chess. So, I started this company called Chess Champions, and it's a charitable organization. Over the summer of 2024, it's become a place to teach, learn, and inspire. Every single person is able to be welcome and truly enjoy. Advanced players are able to meet and play competitive, real games. Intermediate players are matched with opponents of their level and encouraged to play puzzles. And beginner players are matched with a volunteer. And together they can learn how to set up the board, basic pawn movements, and strategies. Chess Champions is designed so that children can find friends that they return to play with. Families can bond over a game night, and senior citizens can enjoy interacting with the children and having just a great time overall. It's a volunteer-led initiative I am proud to have founded and to lead. However, when I first started Chess Champions, I had no clue what I was doing. It was something that was new to me, and I didn't have much experience. But like that pawn, I persevered, taking one step at a time. It started with a 4-week trial program at our local library, and basically it was like a trial program that actually went pretty well. We had 20 people attend. And since then, I've created an official weekly program at the King Road Library. We meet every week on Tuesday nights for 1.5 hours, and we get this reserved room that allows us to actually be able to focus on the chess match. Now, it creates a more creative atmosphere, and you're able to interact. This is our meetings now. We have nearly 30 attendees, and we've also grown to have nearly 150 people overall. So, how did this? While the trial program showed that we did have an interest for chess, it really led to this interest and this development. So now, we have to examine how it impacted the volunteers. And it's actually the thing I'm most proud of. The Chess Champions volunteers all are teammates from my high school, or they're from across Ohio to come and play chess. And they teach, right? And initially, it started with just me, and I had to step up as a leader and learn how to communicate with people. But each and every one of the volunteers has stepped up in their individual roles. They started off shy and timid, but now each one of them has become a powerful leader who can instruct with confidence. And that is the beauty of chess. So, now let's talk more about what makes a good leader. chess, players don't just react to the immediate move. They anticipate. They think 10 moves ahead before they make their move, if you're lucky. Now, other times, a good leader needs the same strategy. Because if you plan ahead and prepare, that is the essence of a true leader. So now, a good leader takes the time to ask the big questions. They have a vision, asking, where are we going? When you're in school or doing a bunch of projects, it's easy to get caught up in the chaos, doing this assignment, doing this project. But it's important to find focus. And it's important to not just put out the fires. It's important to prevent them. And a good leader is able to anticipate and prepare. Next, there are two ways, or there are many other ways, that you can take care of a chess game or a villain. It's a strategy. Now, you can play offensively, attacking your opponent's king, or you can play defensively, protecting your own. You can sacrifice a piece to win the long-term game, or you can stay safe, keeping your pieces till the very, very end. Either way, it's important that you take accountability, because that is a key factor of leadership. Accepting accountability, and it leads to trust among team members. It shows that you're willing to take responsibility, and it shows that you're willing to make this change. Now, if you don't believe the chess metaphor, you can also see it in famous companies such as Apple, for example. Apple, at first, Steve Jobs' teammates didn't necessarily trust in him or believe in his idea, and at times they disagreed. But Steve Jobs' passion for his product and his ability to take responsibility for his decisions led to them coming together and creating such a great company that is now worth millions and billions of dollars. And finally, a good leader leads by example. Now, while it is hard to, leaders don't just tell people what they want. They show them how it's done. And in the face of conflict, they don't back away. They stand and they fight. And they try to change the situation. And just like that, a good leader sets an example for their teammates and sets a precedent. And when they need help, they ask their teammates, just as they hope their teammates would ask them. Because a good leader doesn't just guide teammates, they empower them. They don't demand respect, they earn it. And they don't expect change. They become the catalyst. So now, let's look at how we can implement these leadership qualities in our daily life. I created a framework called CHARGE. The C stands for charge. Charge is basically in a group project. Imagine there are two types of people. There's the person who does everything and the person who does absolutely nothing. But believe it or not, both of these people are priming the group. The person who does everything takes away from overall accountability of the people. Now, if that person were to leave or fall ill, then the entire team suffers. Then after that, if the person who does nothing just keeps doing nothing, nothing will happen. And it's imperative that this doesn't happen to your team or your So to prevent this, it's important that you encourage each person to take autonomy and to take their job seriously. Because accountability isn't something people do to you, it's something they do for you. By empowering you to take responsibility for your work, it's the best gift you can give. Because it not only challenges you to become a better leader and a better person, it creates a better place and workplace overall. you and doesn't really treat you with the respect you need. I'm sure nobody would love doing work with that boss. In fact, most people would downright hate it. However, if you had a boss who at least treated you with some kindness or at least some respect, it creates a much more hospitable work environment. And at least you wouldn't downright hate doing the work. And by elevating others instead of pushing them down, we can create a better workplace and create a stronger leader and a better team. Next, C for constructive criticism. Now, imagine you have this project, and I'm sure we all had a project where it's so normalized in our society. Saying something looks nice or it looks good, it's the easy option. But I'm sure there's been a scenario where you say something looks good, but you know it's not good. For example, a PowerPoint. You know that font is glaringly bright, but you don't say it. You say it looks nice, but you know it's not nice. And you don't say anything. So the person walks into a presentation tomorrow, and the font is still glaringly bright. It doesn't magically change. And when the font is still glaringly bright, people suffer because in the end, it reflects badly not only on the person, it also reflects badly on the team. Constructive criticism doesn't mean being mean. It means spawning development of not only the person, but also the team. And finally, kudos. Just like you constructively criticize, it's important to celebrate. Because by being open about your compliments and sharing your compliments, a study by Gallup showed that employee happiness skyrocketed and performances also skyrocketed. So, by this, in conclusion, you can see that chess really helps to model a leadership society. Because as we or the pawn progresses along the board and makes developments to ourselves, we become stronger leaders. Now, it isn't like a one-stop journey. It's the process of it that actually makes us those strong leaders. And if we become strong leaders, then the positions will automatically follow. So just remember, the next time you feel small, every single piece on the board can make a big difference. Thank you.